2, 1, 2, 3.
Hi there folks and welcome to Get Strumming. Now before I continue, please remember to hit that subscribe button, press that notification bell and it'll let you know when I'm coming out with another Get Strumming ukulele tutorial, and believe you me, I've got a real backlog of excellent songs to show you how to play. Okay, well we're going to have a look now at the 1970 song For You Blue. It was written by George Harrison and released on the Beatles' 1970 LP Let It Be. It was also featured on the recent Get Back documentary released in December 2021, and it's a proper 12-bar blues song by George Harrison. So this is how it goes. Because you're sweet and lovely girl, I love you. Because you're sweet and lovely girl, it's true. Okay, well first of all I'm going to show you how to play the chords in the song. Now as luck would have it, I'm actually showing you the song in the key that it was recorded, which was D7. So once you've learnt this version, you'll be able to play along with the actual recording that the Beatles made, which is always fun because it gives you a good way of practicing the song, being able to play along with the original version. Okay, so we're going to first of all look at the D7 chord. So this is the D7. Now if you notice, what I'm doing is I'm placing my first finger across the second fret, and I'm just using my thumb there behind the neck just to gently squeeze so we get a nice firm grip on all those strings. Then I'm placing my second finger or third finger, it's entirely up to you, you can use either or, on the third fret first string, that's the string closer to the ground. So there we go, that's a D7 chord. Next up, we've got a G7, so you're going to be using your first, second and third fingers. Your first finger goes on the first fret, second string, second finger, second fret, third string, and third finger, second fret, first string, that's the string closer to the ground. Next up, we've got a little bit of E7. It's only included in the introduction, so basically the song just really consists of 3 chords. But I'll show you how to play the E7 so we can do the introduction. So your first finger is on the first fret, 4th string, string closest to your face. Second finger, 2nd fret, 3rd string. And your third finger, 2nd fret, 1st string. So there's the E7. And finally, nice easy chord, we've got the A7 using your first finger on the first fret, 3rd string. There we go, there's the A7. Next up, we need to have a look at the actual rhythm. Now, as I always say to beginners on the ukulele, whenever you're learning a new song, keep the strumming really simple. So if you're learning to play the ukulele and you just want to keep it really simple, just do down strums. Because you're sweet and lovely girl, I love you. It's just simple down, 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 down. If you're a little bit more adventurous and maybe you're a little bit more well practiced on the ukulele and you want to choose a more lively rhythm, then this is the rhythm that I've been using for the song. It goes like this. So if you notice, what I'm doing is just a simple down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But on the second downbeat, I'm actually putting an emphasis there. So the effect that it has is to give it a kind of shuffle, tap, ta, 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 which really suits the song. So this is what I'm doing. I'm doing a down, up, 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 down, up. So you've got this kind of shuffle thing going on. So that's the strumming pattern that I use, but as I say, if you find it a little bit complicated and you just want to kind of get used to knowing where the chord changes are within the song, just stick to simple downstrokes like that. Okay then, so let's now have a look at the introduction to the song. So we're going to start off with a D7 and we're going to do 4 strums. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go to G7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then to E7. 1, 2, then we're going to go to the A7 and do 8 strums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're into the main song. So let's go through that together, shall we? So after 4, start with the D7. 1, 2, 3, 4. D7, G7, E7, and A7. And now we're going to go straight into the first verse. So we're back at the D7. So here we go. Because you're sweet and then to G7, lovely girl. And then back to D7, I love you. Then G7, because you're sweet and lovely girl. It's then D7, true. Now to A7, I love you more than G7, ever girl. Then D7, do. Then back to the A7. And then we're into the second verse, which takes on exactly the same chord structure as the first verse. So back to the D7. I want you in the, then G7, morning girl. Back to D7, I love you. Then back to G7, I want you at the moment I feel. Back to D7, blue. Now to A7, I'm living every G7 moment girl for. And then D7, you. A7. There we go, 2 verses down. Let's have a look at the instrumental. So the instrumental is basically the same chord structure again as the verses. It's 12-bar blues basically, you can't go wrong with it. So here we go, D7. 1, 2, 3, 4. D7, G7, and back to D7. Now to G7, D7. Now to A7. Now to G7 and to D7. Back to A7. And then we have another solo which takes on exactly the same form again. So back to the D7. G7, back to D7. Then G7, back to D7. And then A7, then G7, and then back to D7. Finally A7. Okay, now we're into the next verse. So we're back to our root note, which is the D7. Okay, so here we go. I love you from the, then to G7, moment. Back to D7, I saw you. Then G7, you looked at me, that's all you had to. Back to D7, do. Then A7, I feel it now. G7, hope you feel it. Back to D7, 2. A7. And then we're back to the first verse, to D7. Because you're sweet and G7, lovely girl. Then D7, I love you. Back to G7, because you're sweet and lovely girl. It's back to D7, true. Then A7, I love you more than G7, ever girl. Then back to D7, do. And then do a down, up, down on A7, and then a downstroke on D7, and that is the end of the song. Now, there's another couple of things that I'm going to mention now, just for the more advanced players out there. What I tend to do when I'm playing it, I tend to do this kind of thing. doing is, just to give it more of a kind of bluesy tinge, I'm doing a bit of a slide up on the D7. So as I mentioned before, we start off on the D7 with your first finger on the 2nd fret and your 2nd or 3rd finger on the 3rd fret 1st string. But what I do to give it that bluesy feel is I start off by starting a couple of frets lower than you normally would. So my first finger starts on the 1st fret and my 2nd or 3rd finger starts on the 2nd fret 1st string. And what we do is pluck upwards with your first finger, and as you're doing so, you slide to your normal D7 position. So you're going bam, and then what I do is I carry on strumming, so it's up, slide, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, slide, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, slide, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, slide, up, down, up, down, up, down. And it just gives it that kind of bluesy tinge. You can do the same thing as well on the G7 if you want. So what I'm doing here, I'm starting off with my 2nd and 3rd finger on the 3rd and 1st strings on the 1st fret. And then again, I'm using my finger here to pluck upwards. And then as I slide up to the normal G7 position, I'm also placing my first finger where it should be on the 1st fret 2nd string. So here we go, I'll just show you very close up there. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, slide, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, slide. So as you can see, it just kind of adds to that bluesiness. Because you're sweet and lovely girl, I love you. Because you're sweet and lovely girl, it's true. So you get a really nice kind of bluesy feel, especially with that shuffle rhythm as well. Well, thanks very much for joining me, and don't forget to check out the play along video to this song. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button, folks. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.